I want to add a sheet after this sheet, the first sheet in my set, that shows the overall assembly dimensions. So to make it easier, I'm going to copy this sheet. I'm going to come down here to the sheet where it's named Quick Release, right click on it, and I'm going to say copy. Then I'll right click and I'll say paste. And it's going to ask me where, and I'm going to tell it after the selected sheet and say OK. So now I have this sheet twice. It's been renamed to. I'm going to right click on this sheet and I'm going to rename it Overall Assembly Dimensions. And I'm going to delete the bill of materials. So I'll select it and push delete on my keyboard. I'm going to delete this view. So again, I'll select the view, just push delete on my keyboard, answer yes. And I have just this view left that I'm going to work with. First thing I want to do is select this view and I'm going to change it to the front view. So now I see the front view of my part, and I'm working with the default configuration and I'm not exploding it. Before I add any overall dimensions, I want to make a few corrections. One is, I'll zoom in here, I would like the thread protector to be touching this top face, and I'd like the handle to be folded up inside the base, so I can show the minimum overall height. To do this, I'm going to create a new configuration, and the reason I'm going to create a new configuration is I'll demonstrate here now. So first, I'll click on this part and I'm going to open the assembly. With my assembly open, I'm going to rotate around and I'm going to move this handle a little bit, move the part around. First, I'll make it flexible, and then I'm going to fold the handle up a bit. When I rebuild this and press Ctrl Tab to move back to my drawing, you can see the handles changed as well. Every time I update my assembly, my drawings will update. I don't want that. I want to put a configuration here where everything is fixed and the drawing stays that way. So I'm going to Ctrl Tab back to my part and I'm going to add a configuration. I'll go to the Configuration Manager, select it, and with this configuration, I just want a derived configuration of my default. So earlier we added configuration by selecting the assembly name up here. This time I'm going to select my default, right click on it, and I'm going to choose to add a derived configuration. I'm going to call this configuration Handle in Pocket. If I expand this, I can see my new configuration. I'll go back and make the default active again. I'm going to create one more configuration. So I'm going to make another drive configuration by right clicking, and I'm going to call this one Handle Out. I'll accept this, and now I have two derived configurations of my PU50. When I go to use these configurations in my drawing, I actually need to create another configuration of this subassembly. So I'm going to select the stopper here, and I'm going to tell it to open the assembly by selecting the drop down arrow from the folder. And in this subassembly, I'm going to create two more configurations. I've already created them. I'm going to call one handle horizontal and one handle vertical. I'm going to double click the handle horizontal, and my handle's now gone horizontal. To create this, I'll go back to the assembly to the mate, and I'm going to select the limit distance. I'm going to hold Control and select my limit angle mate, right click, and I'm going to configure the feature. Here, I'm going to tell it that these two mates are suppressed in both the handle horizontal and the handle vertical configuration. I'll apply and rebuild these and say OK. And then here in the handle horizontal, I'm going to add a parallel mate between these two faces. Here it can be seen that the stopper is interfering with my PU50 part. In the next video, we'll look at how to fix this.